Jisoo stood at the entrance of the Galactic Academy for Advanced Species, her small frame almost lost among the towering aliens around her. The year was 2187, and humans were still new to the galactic community. Most alien species saw humans as weak and fragile. Jisoo clutched her acceptance letter tightly. She knew she was only here because of the diversity quota. The Academy needed to show they accepted all species, even the weaker ones like humans. She took a deep breath and walked through the massive doors. Inside, the main hall buzzed with activity. Tall, four-armed Andorians moved heavy equipment with ease. Reptilian draconids slithered quickly between groups. Bulky, stone-skinned Petroctians stood like statues, talking in deep, rumbling voices. Another human. A voice came from behind her. I thought they had filled their pity quota already. Jisoo turned to see a blue-skinned Andorian looking down at her. His four arms were crossed over his chest. His eyes narrowed. My name is Ryun, he said. You should know that this academy is for the best of the best, not for pets. Jisoo said nothing. She simply nodded and walked away. She had learned long ago that words were often wasted. Instead, she watched. She listened. She learned. During the welcome ceremony, Jisoo sat in the back row. The academy director, a tall Celestian with glowing skin, spoke about excellence and competition. This year will test your limits, the director said. Only the strongest will succeed. Jisoo noticed how many students turned to look at the humans in the room when the word strongest was mentioned. There were snickers and whispers, but Jisoo kept her face calm and took mental notes about each species in the room. The next day, all new students had to take physical tests. Jisoo stood in line with the others, waiting her turn. One by one, aliens showed their impressive abilities. Andorians lifted massive weights. Draconids ran at incredible speeds. Petroctians withstood extreme pressure. When Jisoo's turn came, the testing officer, a bored-looking Celestian, barely looked up from his screen. Human female, standard assessment, he called out. Jisoo stepped onto the testing platform. The strength test came first. She could barely move the weight that even the smallest alien had lifted with ease. Laughter echoed through the testing hall. Pathetic. Someone whispered, why are they even here? Next came the speed test. Jisoo was faster than some expected, but still far slower than most aliens. The agility course was similar. She did well for a human, but poorly compared to others. Then came the endurance test. Students had to run until they could no longer continue. Most aliens, built for bursts of power, began dropping out after 20 minutes. Jisoo kept running. 30 minutes passed, then 40, then an hour. The laughter had stopped. Now aliens were watching with confusion. Jisoo's face was red, sweat poured down her back, but she kept a steady pace. Human, you can stop now, the testing officer said after 90 minutes. The test is complete. Jisoo stopped, her breathing controlled despite the long run. The officer looked at his screen with a frown. There must be an error in the system, he muttered. It shows you at the top of the endurance charts and adaptability assessment. We'll run the tests again tomorrow. As Jisoo walked to the water station, she heard Ryun talking to his friends. Lucky glitch in the system, he said. Humans are weak. Everyone knows that. Jisoo took a long drink of water and walked away without a word. She had lived with these judgments her whole life, but while others saw weakness in her silence, she was gathering information, learning patterns, finding weaknesses. In her small room that night, Jisoo opened her personal tablet and added new notes to her growing database of alien physiologies. Under Andorians, she wrote, impressive strength, but poor endurance. Respiratory system inefficient, overconfident. She smiled slightly as she closed her tablet. Let them think she was weak. Let them underestimate the quiet human girl. She would show them all, in time. The morning alarm rang, and Jisoo was already awake. She had been up for an hour, reviewing her notes on alien biology. Today was her first day of real classes at the academy. In the dining hall, Jisoo sat alone, eating slowly while watching the different species around her. Each had their own way of moving, their own habits. The Draconids ate quickly, almost without chewing. The Patroxians crushed their food with stone-like hands before eating. The Andorians used all four arms at once, showing off their coordination. "Hey, human." A loud voice broke her concentration. Another human student dropped into the seat across from her. "I'm Daho. You must be Jisoo, the one who broke the testing system yesterday." Daho was tall for a human, with broad shoulders. He spoke loudly and moved his hands a lot when talking. "We humans need to stick together," he said, punching the air. "Show these aliens what we're made of. I'm going to be the first human to win the combat trials." Jisoo nodded politely but said little. Daho was different from her. He tried to be loud, to match the aliens at their game. Jisoo preferred to watch and wait. Their first class was xenobiology with Professor Hack, one of the few human teachers at the academy. Professor Hack was old, with gray hair and kind eyes behind thick glasses. "Today we study the basic differences between major galactic species," Professor Hack said. "Understanding these differences is key to successful cooperation." As the professor talked, Jisoo took careful notes. Not just about the lesson, but about how each species reacted to different information. Halfway through the class, the lights flickered and went out. Students gasped and murmured in the darkness. A few emergency lights came on, casting strange shadows. "Stay calm," Professor Hack said. "The backup systems will activate soon." Jisoo noticed something interesting in those few moments of darkness. The Andorians had frozen completely. The Draconids had immediately moved closer to the walls. The Patroxians hadn't reacted at all. When the lights came back on, Professor Hack continued as if nothing had happened. But Jisoo heard two security officers talking outside the classroom door. "Third malfunction this week," one said. "Someone's messing with the systems." After class, Jisoo approached Professor Hack's desk while the other students left. "Professor, I would like to join your research lab," she said quietly. Professor Hack looked surprised. "The xenobiology lab? That's usually for advanced students. I have been studying alien physiologies on my own," Jisoo explained, showing her tablet with its detailed notes. Professor Hack's eyebrows rose as he scrolled through her observations. "These are quite thorough. You've been busy, Jisoo." "I notice things," she said simply. "Indeed you do." He handed back her tablet. "Come to Lab 7 after your last class today." As Jisoo left the classroom, Ryan and two other Andorians blocked her path. "I heard you're joining a research lab," Ryan said. "What could a human possibly research? How to be even weaker?" His friends laughed. Jisoo tried to step around them, but Ryan moved to block her. "Maybe you should research your way back to Earth," he said. Jisoo looked up at him calmly. "Perhaps I will research why Andorians freeze when lights go out. Is it fear or poor night vision?" Ryan's blue face darkened with anger. "You." A loud bang interrupted him as something exploded in a nearby lab. Smoke poured into the hallway. Students screamed and ran. In the chaos, a large equipment cabinet tipped over. Everyone scattered, except Jisoo. She noticed a small Draconid student frozen in the cabinet's path. Without hesitation, Jisoo pulled the student away just as the cabinet crashed down. As alarms blared and emergency teams rushed in, Professor Hack appeared beside Jisoo. "You remained calm when others panicked," he said quietly. "And you saved that student." Jisoo shrugged. "I just saw what needed to be done." Professor Hack smiled. "There's more than one kind of strength, Jisoo. Some are just harder to see than others." From across the smoke-filled hallway, Ryan watched them with narrowed eyes. 3 weeks had passed since Jisoo joined Professor Hack's lab. She spent her free time there, studying alien biology and physiology. The professor was impressed with her work but worried about her lack of friends. "Knowledge is good," Jisoo, he told her one evening. But connections are important too. Jisoo nodded but said nothing. She had never been good at making friends, even on Earth. Here, it was even harder. The next morning, the academy director made a special announcement during breakfast. "Attention, students," the director's voice boomed through the dining hall. "In 1 month, we will hold the Galactic Trials. This competition will test all your abilities. The winners will earn special recognition and opportunities." Excited chatter filled the room. The Galactic Trials were famous throughout the galaxy. Many graduates went on to high positions because of their performance in the trials. "All students must register for at least 3 events by the end of this week," the director continued. "Choose wisely based on your strengths." After the announcement, Daho rushed to Jisoo's table, his eyes bright with excitement. "This is our chance," he said loudly. "I'm signing up for combat, strength, and speed events. Those events favor non-human abilities," Jisoo said quietly. Daho frowned. "So, we have to show them we can compete on their level." Later that day, Jisoo visited the registration office. The alien at the desk looked surprised to see her. "Human student," the alien said, "may I suggest the problem-solving event? Or perhaps the artistic expression category? Those might be more appropriate for your species." Jisoo said nothing, but took the registration form and filled it out. The alien's eyes widened as they read her selections. "All categories?" the alien asked. "Including combat and strength. Are you sure that's wise? We don't want any accidents." "I am sure," Jisoo said simply and walked away. In xenobiology class the next day, Professor Hack asked students to pair up for a project. No one chose Jisoo. Even Daho paired with a friendly preconate instead. "I'll work alone," Jisoo told the professor. "As you wish," Professor Hack said, looking concerned. During the class, Ryan kept glancing at Jisoo with a smirk. When it was time for presentations, he raised his hand first. "My project is on why some species deserve academy spots more than others," Ryan announced. The class went quiet. "Certain species," he continued, looking directly at Jisoo, "have only basic abilities. No special strengths. No remarkable features." He pulled up a chart comparing human physical stats to other species. Humans ranked last in almost every category. "Diversity quotas might let them in," Ryan said, "but what real value do they add? What can a weak species contribute to galactic advancement?" The room was silent. All eyes turned to Jisoo. Even Professor Hack seemed unsure how to respond to this direct attack. Jisoo slowly stood up. The room tensed, waiting for her response. "I signed up for every category in the trials," she said, her quiet voice somehow filling the silent room. "Not just the appropriate ones." Gasps and whispers spread through the class. No student had ever entered every category before. "That's impossible," Ryan said. "You'll embarrass yourself and your entire species." Daho looked at Jisoo with alarm. "What are you doing?" he whispered. "They'll crush you." Jisoo turned to Ryan. For the first time, she allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps," she said, "or perhaps strength comes in forms you haven't recognized yet." Professor Hack cleared his throat. "Well, that sounds like an interesting experiment, Jisoo. Now let's continue with today's scheduled presentations." As Jisoo sat down, she noticed the students looking at her differently. Not with respect exactly, but with curiosity. They were finally seeing her, even if it was just to watch her fail. The day of the Galactic Trials arrived. Students gathered in the Academy's main arena, a massive space that could change its layout for different events. Spectators filled the seats, including teachers, Academy officials, and even some visitors from other planets. Jisoo stood alone, watching as the other competitors warmed up. Andorians stretched their forearms. Draconids slithered quickly back and forth. Petroxians stomped their feet, making the floor shake slightly. Daho approached her, looking nervous. Jisoo, you can still withdraw from some events. No one would blame you. I will compete in all events as planned, Jisoo said calmly. Daho sighed. Your funeral. He walked away to join a group of other students. The first event was the endurance run. Competitors had to run through an obstacle course for as long as possible. The course would get harder over time, with new challenges appearing. Runners, take your positions, the announcer called. Jisoo lined up with the others. Rayum stood nearby, smirking at her. Don't worry, human, he said. I'll try not to lap you too many times. The signal sounded, and they were off. The aliens quickly pulled ahead with their longer legs and stronger bodies. Jisoo stayed at a steady pace, not trying to match their speed. After 30 minutes, the first competitors began dropping out. The Patroxians went first. Their heavy stone bodies weren't made for long-distance running. Then some of the Draconids tired. An hour passed. The course now included climbing walls, crawling under barriers, and jumping over water pits. Most competitors were struggling. But Jisoo kept going, her pace almost unchanged. The human female continues to surprise us, the announcer said. She's now in the top 10. 2 hours in, only 5 competitors remained. Ryan was one of them, but he was breathing hard. His 4 arms, so useful at first, now seemed heavy with fatigue. Jisoo was still moving steadily. How? Ryan gasped as Jisoo passed him. How are you still going? Jisoo didn't waste energy answering. She had studied how each species moved, how they breathed, their limits. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters, able to keep going when others had to stop and rest. After nearly 3 hours, only Jisoo and 1 Draconid remained. When the Draconid finally collapsed from exhaustion, the crowd went silent. Then, slowly, they began to cheer. Unbelievable. The human competitor wins the endurance event, the announcer shouted. As Jisoo received her medal, she saw Professor Hack talking to another teacher nearby. She's been studying alien physiologies for months, Professor Hack was saying. She knows exactly how each species moves, their strengths and weaknesses. Impressive, the other teacher replied. But surely raw physical power will win out in the strength events. Professor Hack smiled. Wait and see. The next event was the strength challenge. Competitors had to move heavy objects across the arena. The Andorians were favored to win, with their 4 powerful arms. When Jisoo's turn came, the crowd watched curiously. The object was a massive metal cube, too heavy for any human to lift directly. The judges looked ready to record her failure. But Jisoo didn't try to lift the cube. Instead, she found a metal rod and placed it under one edge of the cube. Using the rod as a lever, she began to move the cube inch by inch. What is she doing? Someone in the crowd asked. Using simple physics, Professor Hack explained to those nearby. Leverage can multiply force. Jisoo's progress was slow but steady. While the Andorians had used brute force to carry their cubes, Jisoo used her brain. When the time limit ended, she had moved her cube the required distance. The judges looked confused. Technically, she had completed the challenge. The crowd murmured in surprise. As the day ended, screens around the academy showed the current standings. Jisoo's name was in 5th place overall. And tomorrow would bring the mental challenges, where she expected to do even better. This isn't over, Ryan said as he passed her in the hallway. He had barely qualified for the next round. Jisoo just nodded. It was indeed not over. It was just beginning. Night had fallen on the academy. Most students slept, resting for tomorrow's challenges. But Jisoo was awake in her room, reviewing her notes by the dim light of her tablet. A soft knock on her door surprised her. She opened it to find Daho standing there, looking uncomfortable. I saw what you did today, he said. It was impressive. Jisoo nodded and stepped aside to let him in. Her room was small but neat. One wall was covered with notes and diagrams of different alien species. This is how you've been preparing? Daho asked, staring at her work. Humans evolved differently from other species, Jisoo explained. We don't have 4 arms or stone skin. But we can adapt. We can observe and learn. She showed him her notes on Andorians. They have great strength but poor endurance. Their joints lock up when tired. Then she pointed to her Draconid notes. They move fast but can't regulate body temperature well. They slow down when hot. Daho looked amazed. I've been trying to beat them at their own game, but you're playing a different game entirely. Jisoo smiled slightly. Tomorrow are the mental challenges. That's where humans can really show our value. As they talked, the lights flickered again. But this time, they stayed off longer than usual. Another malfunction, Daho said. That's the 10th one this week. Jisoo frowned. It's strange how they keep happening during important times. The next morning, everyone gathered for the mental challenges. The first test was a complex puzzle that changed as you worked on it. Competitors had 30 minutes to solve it. Most aliens attacked the puzzle directly, using the same approaches that had always worked for them. But Jisoo took her time, watching how the puzzle changed with each move. What is she doing? Someone whispered. She's barely touching it. But Jisoo was seeing patterns. After 15 minutes of observation, she began to move pieces quickly. Her hands flew over the puzzle, each move precise and planned. Time's up, the judge called. Only 3 competitors had solved the puzzle. Jisoo, a Celestian known for their intelligence, and surprisingly, Ryun, the human female, has advanced to the final round of this event, the announcer said. The crowd seemed shocked. During the lunch break, Jisoo sat alone again. But this time, she noticed something odd. Every time a certain academy official walked near any equipment, the systems would flicker slightly. She quietly moved closer to listen as the official spoke with another staff member. 3 more competitors eliminated due to equipment failures. The official was saying, make sure the human girl has a similar accident in the next round. Jisoo's eyes widened. The malfunctions weren't accidents. They were planned to remove certain competitors, and now she was a target. As Jisoo walked to the next event, Daho caught up with her. Jisoo, be careful. I just saw the equipment for your next challenge. Something doesn't look right. I know, she said quietly. The malfunctions are deliberate. Daho looked shocked. We should tell someone. Who? We need proof first. The next challenge was called Adaptive Response. Competitors entered a room that would change its environment suddenly. They had to react correctly to each change to advance. Just before Jisoo entered her testing room, Ryun passed by. Good luck, human, he said with a strange smile. I hear this test can be shocking. As the door closed behind her, Jisoo looked carefully around the room. She spotted a small device attached to the floor panel she was supposed to stand on. It looked like it would deliver a powerful electric shock when activated. Instead of standing on the marked spot, Jisoo moved to a different position. When the first environmental change occurred, a sudden drop in temperature, the floor panel sparked violently. Had she been standing there, she would have been badly hurt. Jisoo smiled to herself as she completed the challenge perfectly. The saboteurs had underestimated her most important strength, her power of observation. The second day of the Galactic trials ended with Jisoo in 3rd place overall. News spread quickly through the academy. A human near the top of the rankings. It seemed impossible. That evening, a special announcement appeared on all screens. Final rounds begin tomorrow. Top 10 competitors only. Jisoo had qualified. So had Ryun, though just barely at 9th place. He looked furious when he saw the rankings. Jisoo went to find Professor Hack to tell him about the sabotage she had discovered. But when she reached his lab, she heard voices inside. She stopped and listened. The human girl is becoming a problem, a voice said. It was the academy official Jisoo had seen earlier. She's advancing too far. She's simply performing well, Professor Hack replied calmly. Isn't that the point of the trials? You know very well that humans aren't supposed to succeed here, the official said. The Separatist Alliance won't be pleased. They've invested too much in this plan. I'm a scientist, not a politician, Professor Hack said. Jisoo is my student, and I won't help you harm her. Jisoo backed away quietly. The Separatist Alliance was a group that believed humans should be kept out of galactic affairs. They thought humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous to be allowed full membership in the galactic community. The next morning, all competitors gathered for the final rounds. But before they began, the head judge called Jisoo forward. There have been concerns about your performance, the judge said. Some suggest you might be using hidden technology to enhance your abilities. Gasps and whispers spread through the crowd. Rayon smiled from the sidelines. I have used no technology, Jisoo said. Only observation and planning. Nevertheless, we must investigate, the judge replied. Please empty your pockets and remove any devices. Jisoo did as asked. They found nothing, but the delay was making her miss the start of the next event. We also need to review the recordings of your previous performances, the judge continued. Until our investigation is complete, you cannot compete. Jisoo finally understood. This was their plan to stop her, not through sabotage, but through rules and delays. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Jisoo raised her voice. I have broken no rules, she said clearly, her voice carrying across the now silent arena. I have simply studied each species' strengths and weaknesses. I have watched and learned while everyone underestimated me because I am human. She turned to face the crowd. The malfunctions around the academy aren't accidents. They're deliberate sabotage. I have seen officials tampering with equipment to hurt certain competitors, especially humans. The crowd erupted in shocked conversations. Academy security officers moved closer. These are serious accusations, the head judge said. Do you have proof? Jisoo reached into her boot and pulled out a small device. This was attached to the floor panel in my testing room yesterday. It was designed to deliver an electric shock. I removed it instead of standing on it. Security took the device for examination. The head judge looked uncomfortable. Even if what you say is true, we still need to complete our investigation, he said. For now, you are disqualified from the finals. As Jisoo walked away, head held high, she passed Daho in the stands. They can't do this, he said angrily. You earned your place. They're afraid, Jisoo replied quietly. Not of me, but of what I represent. A human succeeding where we're expected to fail challenges their view of the galaxy. Back in her room, Jisoo stared at her wall of notes and diagrams. She had spoken up, broken her silence, but it hadn't been enough. She needed hard evidence of the conspiracy. A small notification appeared on her tablet. Access to central computer systems. Granted. It was from Professor Hack. Jisoo smiled. The real challenge was just beginning. Night fell on the academy. Most students and staff were asleep, but in the darkness of her room, Jisoo was wide awake. The finals of the Galactic trials would finish tomorrow without her. But she had a different mission now. Jisoo studied the academy map on her tablet. Professor Hack's access code had opened many locked files. She now knew where the central computer room was located. She also knew which security systems protected it. At midnight, Jisoo slipped out of her room. She wore dark clothes and soft shoes that made no sound. In her pocket was a small device she had built in Professor Hack's lab. The hallways were mostly empty. A few security guards patrolled, but Jisoo had memorized their routes. She waited in shadows as they passed, then moved quickly when the way was clear. One guard, a large Patroxian, almost spotted her, but Jisoo pressed herself against the wall in a narrow space the bulky alien would never fit into. The guard walked by it without noticing her. After 20 minutes of careful movement, Jisoo reached the central computer section. A locked door blocked her way. She connected her device to the door's control panel. After a few seconds, the door slid open silently. Inside, rows of tall computer units hummed softly. Jisoo moved to the main terminal and plugged in her tablet. Using Professor Hack's access code, she began searching through files. Security logs, system updates, communications. She whispered to herself as she worked. Then she found it. Separatist Alliance correspondence. Jisoo opened the file. Pages of messages between Academy officials and Separatist leaders filled her screen. The plan was clear. Use the Academy to prove that humans were inferior and unworthy of full galactic membership. Sabotage human students to ensure they failed. Paint Earth as a primitive planet with nothing to offer the galaxy. Jisoo copied everything to her tablet. As the download finished, she heard voices approaching. She quickly disconnected and looked for a place to hide. The computer room door slid open. The Academy official she had seen before entered with 2 security guards. Someone accessed the system from here, the official said. Find them. Jisoo crawled under a desk as the guards began searching the room. They would find her soon. But then she noticed something. An air vent near the floor, just large enough for her small human body. Moving silently, Jisoo removed the vent cover and squeezed inside. The tight space would be impossible for the larger alien species to follow her through. She replaced the cover just as a guard looked in her direction. Nothing here, sir, the guard reported. Check the access logs, the official ordered. See what files were viewed. Jisoo began crawling through the ventilation system. Her small size, once seen as a weakness, was now her advantage. She moved through spaces no Andorian or Petroxian could fit into. After half an hour of crawling through dusty vents, Jisoo emerged in a maintenance corridor. She needed to find Daho. He was the only other human she could trust right now. Jisoo found Daho in the student lounge, watching highlights from the day's finals. Jisoo, he said, surprised to see her. What are you doing here? They'll kick you out if they catch you. I found proof, she said, showing him her tablet. The Separatists have been working with officials to sabotage humans and other species they consider threats. Daho's eyes widened as he read the files. This is huge. We need to tell someone. Who would believe us? Jisoo asked. The top officials are part of this plot. Suddenly, all screens in the lounge turned red. An alarm sounded throughout the academy. Attention all personnel, a voice announced. Security breach detected. Complete station lockdown initiated. All students returned to quarters immediately. They know, Jisoo said. They know I took the files. Daho stood up. What do we do now? Jisoo's usually calm face showed determination. We fight back. My way. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the academy. The lockdown had sealed all major doors. Students from all species huddled in groups, confused and frightened. The life support systems are being shut down one by one. Jisoo told Daho as she checked her tablet. They're trying to force everyone into the main hall where they can control the situation. But why shut down life support? Daho asked. That endangers everyone. Because they're desperate, Jisoo replied. They know I have the files. A voice came over the speakers. Attention all Academy members. This is the director. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please proceed calmly to the main hall for safety. Jisoo and Daho exchanged looks. They knew the technical difficulties were intentional. We need to get to the environmental control room, Jisoo said. From there, we can restore the systems and broadcast the truth to everyone. But that's on the other side of the academy. Daho protested. All the main corridors are sealed. Jisoo smiled slightly. I've been mapping this station for months. I know ways that aren't on the official plans. She led Daho to a maintenance closet. Inside, she moved a panel revealing the narrow passage. Maintenance tunnels, she explained. Most aliens are too big to use them, so they're not well guarded. As they crawled through the cramped space, they heard chaos above them. The air was getting stale as oxygen levels dropped in parts of the station. They emerged in a corridor near the environmental control room. 2 Andorian guards stood at the door. "Now what?" Daho whispered. "We can't fight 2 Andorians." "We don't need to fight," Jisoo said. She pointed to a small control panel on the wall. "Watch." Jisoo connected her tablet to the panel. After a few seconds, the lights in the corridor began to flicker. Then they went out completely. In the darkness, they heard the Andorians freeze in confusion, just as Jisoo had observed they would. She and Daho moved silently past them and into the control room. Inside, Jisoo quickly went to work on the main console. "I need 5 minutes to restore life support systems," she said. "Then we can use the communication system to broadcast the files to everyone." Daho stood guard at the door. "Someone's coming." The door slid open, and Rian entered. He looked surprised to see them. "You," he said, pointing at Jisoo. "You're the one causing all this." "No, Rian," Jisoo said calmly as she worked. "Your separatist friends are the ones shutting down life support. They're willing to risk everyone just to keep their anti-human agenda secret." "What are you talking about?" Rian asked, confused. Jisoo nodded to Daho, who showed Rian the files on his tablet. Rian's eyes widened as he read. This can't be true," he said. "It is," Jisoo replied. "They've been manipulating the Academy for years, making sure humans and other lesser species never succeed. They sabotaged equipment, rigged the trials, all to prove their superiority." Rian looked troubled. "But why would they shut down life support?" "Because they're desperate now," Jisoo explained. "But I'm restoring it." On the console, green lights began to appear as systems came back online. Jisoo had restored oxygen to the living quarters. Suddenly, 4 security officers burst into the room. "Stop what you're doing," one shouted. To everyone's surprise, Rian stepped in front of Jisoo. "Let her finish," he said. "She's saving the station." "Move aside, Andorian," the officer ordered. "The human is sabotaging our systems." "No," Rian said firmly. "She's fixing what your leaders broke." Jisoo finished her work and pressed the broadcast button. "It's done," she said. "Everyone in the Academy is receiving the files now. They'll all know the truth." The security officers looked at each other uncertainly. Their communication devices were buzzing with confused messages from other parts of the station. "The whole Academy is watching," Jisoo said quietly. "What will you do now?" Chaos filled the Academy as students and staff viewed the secret files Jisoo had broadcast. The separatist conspiracy was exposed for all to see. Security officers stood uncertain in the control room, not knowing whether to arrest Jisoo or protect her. "Director Krell and the other conspirators are trying to leave the station," Jisoo said, looking at her tablet. "They're heading for the shuttle bay." A voice came over the station speakers. It was Professor Hack. "Attention everyone. This is not a drill. The evidence you've received is genuine. Director Krell and several officials have been working with the Separatist Alliance against Academy interests. Security teams, please secure the shuttle bay immediately." The security officers in the control room looked at each other, then at Jisoo. "We should have listened to you earlier," the lead officer said. "We'll stop them from escaping." As the officers left, Jisoo, Daho, and Rian made their way to the main hall. Students from all species had gathered there, reading the files and talking loudly. "Look, it's the human," someone shouted when Jisoo entered. The room went quiet. Then, slowly, they began to applaud. The sound grew until the whole hall was cheering for the small human girl who had saved them all. Professor Hack approached Jisoo with a proud smile. "Well done," he said. "Security has detained Director Krell and the other conspirators. The Galactic Council has been notified." "What happens now?" Jisoo asked. Now we finish the trials properly, Professor Hack replied. You were wrongfully disqualified. The finals will be rescheduled. 3 days later, the Galactic trials resumed. Jisoo competed fairly in all events. She didn't win every category. The Andorians still dominated strength competitions, and the Celestians excelled in pure intellectual challenges. But Jisoo's overall performance placed her third in the final rankings. At the award ceremony, a representative from the Galactic Council attended. After the medals were given out, the representative asked to speak. What happened at this academy reflects a larger problem in our galactic community, she said. We have judged species by limited standards rather than recognizing different kinds of strength. She turned to Jisoo. Young human, you have shown us something important. True strength isn't always visible. Sometimes it hides in quiet observation, in adaptation, in finding new solutions to old problems. After the ceremony, Rion approached Jisoo. The tall Andorian looked different now, less arrogant, more thoughtful. I was wrong about you, he admitted. About humans, too. I thought strength only meant one thing. Jisoo nodded. Every species has strengths and weaknesses. Humans aren't as strong as Andorians, but we adapt. We observe. We find different ways to solve problems. I'd like to learn more about that, Rion said. Maybe we could study together sometimes. Jisoo smiled. I'd like that. Later, in Professor Hack's office, Jisoo was offered a surprising opportunity. The Academy's leadership has been reorganized, Professor Hack explained, and they want to create a new position, student representative to the Galactic Council. They've asked me to nominate someone. Jisoo looked surprised. You want to nominate me? Professor Hack nodded. You've shown exactly what we need. The ability to see beyond appearances, to understand different species, to find solutions where others see only problems. What would I do in this position? Jisoo asked. You would help build better understanding between species, Professor Hack said. Starting with humans, many still don't understand Earth's potential contribution to the galaxy. Jisoo thought about her journey, from the quiet, underestimated girl to someone who had made the entire academy listen. She had done it not by trying to be like the others, but by embracing her human differences. I'll do it, she said. We all have something to teach each other. As Jisoo left the office, she passed a mirror and paused. The reflection showed the same small human girl who had arrived months ago. But now she stood straighter, her eyes confident and calm. Her strength had always been there, hidden in silence, waiting for the right moment to emerge.